are we going to be kind of going back and forth then?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
Well, hello there.
Pretty much like same question.
Welcome to Big E's Fig Games and Expo show. I am Ernesto Osorio, Big E, aka Big E. And we're talking about the event, the Hot Bodies Fit Games. One of the events in the Hot Bodies Fit Games, the Toughest on the Turf Combine Challenge. And today, two of our special guests, we have Mo City Fitness and DST Performance. They're involved in the event on June 4th. They're our specialists and our coaches and our team leaders of the Toughest on the Turf. So we'll start off with DST. Josh, will you introduce yourself and talk a little bit about DST Performance?
Yeah, sure. So my name is Josh Graber. I'm the Director of Operations at DST. And basically our goal is to make athletes better. So we work with athletes all the way from age 7 to the professional level in all sports. And so our goal is to maximize their potential, their genetic potential. So whatever that might be, whether that's being a Pro Bowler or whether that's being a solid contributor on their high school team, that's what we want to do. And so we do that by athletic development. And so that's basically the gist of what we do, and it's through strength training, speed training, and it's sport specific, goal specific.
So I see, for the viewers out there to hear about, you train any athlete, not just football players, right? You train any
Correct.
athlete,
Yes,
from baseball to lacrosse to football to you guys and your team. Tell us a little bit about, give us a little information on your team that's out there.
Sure. So we've got 9 full-time employees, 7 trainers, and all of them played either collegiate sports, different sports, and so we have a bunch of different backgrounds, working from football and baseball, soccer, all different backgrounds, and so that's really helped us out with our ability to train any athlete in any sport. And so that's the gist of it. We've got various different experience levels with our trainers, but we've been blessed to have the opportunity to work with professional athletes, college athletes, and then high school on down.
Good. Now we'll now talk to Mo City Fitness. Mo City Fitness, would you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Mo City Fitness as a gym and company, and what you have to offer for the Combine Challenge?
Okay, my name is Derek Henry. I'm one of the trainers here at Mo City Fitness. I currently will be doing my 22. I'm the owner, operator of the gym located here in Missouri City, Texas, right outside of Houston.
Derek, can you get a little closer to the computer? We're losing your sound.
How's this? Any better?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to sacrifice my face, but yeah, I'm not. So, basically, we're pretty much the same as DST was saying. We're an all-purpose gym, all sports, everything from sports all the way up to we have baseball professionals by the name of CJ.
We're losing you. Derek, we're losing you. We're losing your sound. Yeah.
I don't know if I can get much closer, and I don't have that mic set up.
So turn to the corner a little bit and talk again, because you were a little better on that corner. The other end.
Over here?
Yeah.
That's a little better.
Okay.
A little better.
All right, let me go to this side then. No better?
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so like I was saying, we do everything from professionals to all the way down to the kids looking to improve their game.
Yeah, we're losing you again.
Losing me again. It might be me. Let me see. It might be where we have it. If I'm pulling out a little bit. difference?
A little better.
No better? I might have to, once Tony gets here, I might have to get out to make sure that the Wi-Fi was setting up on something. I'm back in the But, what was I? So anyway, we've had a few pro athletes. We have several ex-athletes that are here as well. It actually does work out in the gym. They're able to kind of give that feedback to some of the kids coming along. Several collegiate athletes that actually went into the NFL combine. A couple of them got picked up, and we're going to have some more.
You made your number of athletes out there, right? I mean, you've got. I know that Tony's got a couple of different professionals on his roster for a couple of different professional teams. He's made a couple of collegiate players as well at the top level. And just recently, right now, right with the draft happening this last weekend, you guys had a couple people in that realm as well, right?
Oh yeah. One of the biggest ones we had was Jalen Mills from LSU. Defensive back. He actually got signed with the Philadelphia Eagles. So he's an Eagle right now, so you'll probably wear a lot of green around here pretty shortly. And we also had some unsigned free agents or unsigned potentials. Hopefully they're gonna just fly out to get drafted as well. One guy I know the Texans are looking at him. I think there's a few other teams that I'm not in the group on, but I've definitely heard about the Texans. I checked them out. Done some workouts with them, and we're looking to have an offensive lineman that's going to be doing something pretty soon. So that's quite a number. Some of I know, some of I don't know, but they're in and out of here all the time.
You guys have a big group of guys that do a lot there.
Oh yeah, it's a really, like, if I had to put a number on it, just on the sports side of training, because we train everyone. It's not just a sports gym. Just on the sports side, we have at least 6 to 8 that just typically go, like I said, they just handle all of baseball. He's a former Astros, so he handles everything baseball related. We have Valentino, he's one of the coaches for high school sports. Tony handles a lot of the professional level, and will help out from time to time. But who I'm forgetting, so we have Freddie Bolden. He does high school sports as well. So everyone kind of has their niche in the whole little thing, but it's really team effort. So we'll kind of like chip in a little bit. Oh, I'm leaving out track. We have a track person as well as tennis. Someone looking to go professional tennis.
We're glad to have you guys on the team. Now, a couple questions for the listeners out there. Josh, we'll go with you first. What, in your experience and what you've seen with DST and all the different athletes that you guys have worked for, at the developmental level, what is it that, in your opinion, that you find that most athletes that you guys work with, what are they missing? What is it that they, when they come to you, again, developmentally, what is it that you guys see a lack of the majority of the athletes that come see you?
Sure. So, a lot of the, especially the high school level athletes and younger, when they come in to see us, they may or may not have had any kind of specialized training in their life. And so developmentally, we subscribe to the idea that no two athletes are the same, right? And so anyone that's spent much time around sports, especially youth on up to high school, they can tell you that you can have two athletes that are the same height, same weight, play the same position, and they're going to have two totally different needs as far as their training goes. And that could be for any number of reasons. That could be previous injuries. That could be just how they developed as an athlete, how they were coached, how they were trained. And so the one thing actually turns into being a lot of different things that they need or that they have a lack of, and that's specialized training. And so a lot of places, a lot of gyms, and especially in the schools, when they do training, you're thinking of, the main lifts, right? They're doing conditioning, or they're doing bench press, squat, power clean. And not that any of those things are inherently bad, but some athletes, that may not be the best way for them to get better in their sport. And so what we really focus on is building a foundation first. So we have an assessment process that we take our athletes through, so we can give them a customized workout program and say, hey, this is what you need to increase your speed, or to get stronger, or to make you a better athlete in your position and in your sport. And then from there, once that foundation is set, then we can move forward and say, look, these are your long-term goals. This is what we can do for you, and this is how we're going to get you there.
You bet.
Does that answer your question?
For those that are contemplating and thinking of the toughest on the turf and the benefit of them being involved in an event like that, you answered a very good question, and from there I'll even ask you some more, so that the parents out there, the kids out there, you made a point of saying that it does not matter if two athletes, they're the same weight, same height, and playing the same position, they're both different in their bodies or their development at that point in time. Where let's say I am playing, the example that you said, when two kids are playing football. Well, the football team can only train the whole team. They can't individually train one person off the side, right? So is this where you can see the benefit, an athlete can see the benefit of participating in an event like that, and meeting guys, DST and guys in your team, to help them become better, because they're just following the program for the whole team, not something individually to make them a better athlete per se.
Correct, right. And so a lot of those group trainings, of course, eventually down the road, those athletes are going to get stronger, or they're going to get faster. But it's not about incremental improvements. It's about maximizing your genetic potential. And so getting around professionals, like our training staff, or Tony and Derek at Mo City, being around those people that can say, look, we've trained the professional athletes. We've trained college athletes that have made it to the next level, or high school athletes that have signed D1 contracts or even D2 contracts. We know what it takes for you to get here, and doing a one-size-fits-all program is probably not going to be the best bet for you, especially in a day and age where there's been so many advances in the training world and the nutrition world. All of those things are outdated now, and so to really get yourself the edge that you need to be around people that know what they're talking about and know the human body, and can tell you this is what's the best route for you, not for just general fitness.
So Derek, again, same question that I asked Josh and DST. From all the different athletes that you guys have worked with, again, what is it that you guys find that that it's a common factor with an athlete coming into this? What is it that they're lacking?
Okay, I'm going to take it back more to the foundation in the beginning of everything. And what I find, because I'm the one that starts with the kids, and what we find is that those natural abilities that we developed from playing outside, from running around, riding bikes, and doing all that stuff is kind of lost, because kids just don't do that anymore. And so that skill set that we naturally have, and that ability that we naturally come up with, is lost. So what you find with a lot of athletes is that everything from muscles, the stabilizing muscles, to the major muscle groups, everything is kind of in a developmental stage that just isn't quite the same anymore. So you have to kind of break that down and start at a foundation level of training someone. Now, an athlete that happens to have played sports all of his life is going to be better off, and those muscles may be developed, but we're still going to find little things in the way they go about things that aren't necessarily going to work for them in the long term. The flexibility just isn't there anymore, and we have to kind of get them used to doing things in that aspect, which might make them seem old school, because if they go to a school where they feel like their training program is quote unquote working for them because they're stronger, it it still doesn't translate to that next level. What you're going to find out is that they have more injuries. And we kind of try to prevent all of that from happening, from the moment they walk through the door. And most kids that come through the door, they find out that the workouts that they've been doing just really don't compare to what they do when they get here.
Now, so a question to ask, and we'll start again. We'll start with DST first. I want you to give me an example of an athlete that kind of came into your doors that you saw, this genetic potential, and the simplest thing that you saw that maybe got missed by him being involved in just the general sports that he was in school. So I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm walking in the door and I have prospects of it, but I want you to give me an example of something you guys caught in an athlete that got kind of missed by the general basis of them playing their regular sports at the high school level or at pre-high school level. Give me one of the simplest things that you guys caught that somebody completely missed along the way. Josh?
Yeah, so there's a lot of different ways I could take that. And so going back again to our assessment process, right? So, I won't go into all of it just to keep it brief, but basically within the assessment, we're doing a bunch of just low intensity exercises and movements and stretches to see how their body is moving and how their muscles are firing and how that's affecting the rest of the body, because joints and muscles and everything, it's all connected, and so there's impacts that may occur from a body part that you may not necessarily think about. And so an example that we give all the time is we work with a lot of baseball athletes and a lot of overhead athletes. So we're talking volleyball, any kind of throwing athlete. And so one big thing that happens a lot is shoulder issues arise with baseball players, volleyball players, quarterbacks, again, any kind of overhead athlete. And a lot of where that can come from is from them lifting incorrectly. And so what I mean by that is going back to what I referenced earlier is, they'll concentrate a lot on bench press, especially at the high school level. For whatever reason, that's always been since I was in schools. I'm sure when y'all were in school.
It's pieces of
what's that?
Getting those numbers up, right? So, I want to have a big bench, because a big bench means that I'm stronger or so, but does not necessarily benefit the position that either I'm naturally made for or the position that I want to play.
Exactly. And so bench press is not just the end all be all of strength. And then a lot of times what happens, going back to the shoulder injuries with overhead athletes, is there's an imbalance there because they're loading up a lot on the chest, but they're not concentrating in their back, right? So their scap muscles are just very weak, and we see that all the time with our baseball athletes. And they don't know any better. They don't know that when you're throwing, you need to be able to decelerate just like you can accelerate. And so there needs to be balance in your body. Otherwise, a lot of times the wear and tear is going to fall directly on your joint, your rotator cuff. Something in your shoulder is taking the brunt of that stress, whereas it should be the strength of your chest combined with your back that's generating all the strength and the maximum velocity. And so that's just one small example, but it's something we see all the time, working with our baseball athletes at least, is just the imbalance. And the same thing is true with football and speed. There's a lot of times that hamstring injuries will arise because the muscle firing pattern isn't correct between hamstring and glute. And so it's just teaching them again how to move properly to avoid injuries and to get them stronger and faster overall.
Great. Eric, how about yourself? What are examples like that you've seen that simplistically that somebody else missed, their coach, a recruiter or anything like that?
Could you repeat that?
Yes. So the question is, name something that you've seen in an athlete that has come through your door that is kind of simple, simplistic, that somebody else in his time as being an athlete missed. A coach that might have missed, an example like what Josh just mentioned, or is it, as far as something as simple as flexibility, or so that somebody should have been able to catch before that athlete came in and saw you guys?
I think I caught the last part of that question. Something's going on with our internet connection. We're not catching everything that you're saying right now. It sounds like you said, what is it that we caught that maybe was missed in training that they've done?
Yes. Correct.
Okay. So one of the biggest things I think that we've caught is because we're not, like, we don't specialize on the baseball side or the volleyball side. So ours is more of the lower trunk. So a lot of things that we always come across is hip flexors. And mostly lower back injuries, which a younger athlete really shouldn't be going through that. And they don't understand the tie-in between hip flexors, the tight hamstrings, and the lower back. And so whereas they'll end up going to a chiropractor or thinking just something is really wrong with their back, once we get them loosened up and get that remedy, then a lot of those issues go away. But they've been conditioned to kind of play through it, and they think they're just toughing it out and think they're just doing the right thing. But in all seriousness, they're really making things a lot worse and probably hindering their chances of even performing at their highest level. Now, once you get those hamstrings loosened up, those hip flexors loosened up, the strides improve, their ability to do many of the things that are needed out there on a football field or sometimes on a baseball field, soccer field. All of those things improve. But like I said in the beginning, one of the things we have to do is kind of step them down to the foundation, because it's really hard to tell someone they're doing something wrong if they've been doing it for so long. They don't understand that because they see results, that those aren't necessarily good results. And once we can kind of clear the mind and get them a little refocused and re-educated on the process, everything kind of starts to flow a little better for them on the field and as well as in the gym.
Well, it's hard to, for all of us that are in the fitness industry, especially working with athletes, and people have asked me, what's the purpose of what's an event this way, combined challenge, competition, like no other, as far as, nobody really gets to compete for the purpose of learning aspect of it, right? And then to have that, bragging rights to be the toughest on the turf on that day. We're splitting the athletes at 13, 14, 15, 16, and 17, 18, so they can compete against each other, but they could also compete for an overall, trophy, who's combined the better athlete in all those sports. But the basis of what we talked about is why I wanted to develop an event like that, so that people can get, a hold of you guys and see and learn how some things that could be very simple can make them a phenomenal athlete within the developmental process. The other one is, although being a football or the mentality of an athlete, I've had it, I remember from my coach and the time, we've got to get tough. We got to continue on with, the path of what we're doing. No pain, no gain, things like that. And in this day and age, sometimes we have to look a little further, and that's why the team that we have for this particular event, guys from No City Fitness, guys from EST Performance, to show these athletes that there's something that they're missing out there by not being involved, one, in the event, and two, with guys to learn how it is that they can become just that much of a better athlete, especially if taught young. Josh, if you look at it, I'll ask that question to you. If you've got a hold of a 13-year-old before he started really benching to make his numbers higher on the bench, and he was a future quarterback, to say, what could you do, to him, at grabbing him at 13 and showing him the proper way of doing that? What could happen at 13 to this?
excuse me, sorry. Yeah, so we actually have on staff a director of youth performance. His name is Jordan Ainsworth, and he specializes in what we call our prepubescent training. And so he specializes with athletes ages 7 to 13, 14. And, he definitely, going back to what I talked about earlier with the laying the foundation, is, with long-term athlete development, he is able to make sure that they're setting a strong foundation as far as movements go and as far as techniques go, to where, when they come in, they're not necessarily going to be getting underneath a bench, right? They're not going to be necessarily coming in and throwing on a bunch of weight, because that's not necessarily the best route for them, especially when you're talking about younger athletes. And so what he's able to do is really assess, what their body is right now, and then where they want to go. And if that's to be, a quarterback at the varsity level and maybe beyond, playing in college, it's really important to set that foundation. And so we're talking about a lot of stretching, a lot of mobility, making sure that there's stability in all of his joints, but especially his shoulder, and making sure that as he does get older and as he does develop biologically, that he's also able to develop strength, speed, flexibility, mobility, everything on the same path to reach his goals. So I guess that was kind of a broad answer for you, but again, it really, at our place, it really does depend on the specific athlete. So yeah, I guess, does that answer your question for you?
It does. Like I said, it's the explanation to the listeners and the parents. Like I said, the parents, this is an information video for athletes and for the parents, especially as parents, we need to know as much as we can to help our children, become better athletes, and what avenue we need to kind of put them in so they can become better athletes.
Sure.
Tony, how's it going there from Old City Fitness? We lost you for a minute, and now you're back. Can you hear us? Maybe not. Well, guys, I want to thank you for this interview and for giving out as much information to the listeners and to the future of the youth sports that we'll come across. We're letting everybody know that you guys will be at the Hot Bodies Fit Games at the Toughest on the Turf on June 4th. You guys will be there to run the show, run the events, talk to the athletes, talk to the parents. We're going to have an educational seminar there so that people can learn more about you, Josh, your team, what they can offer, what they can learn from Mo City Fitness, all the different athletes that they train there, all the different trainers that are available for question and answer and for the learning perspective. So anyway, I wanted to thank you guys. We have your information. We put it out there on the social medias on your website. But go ahead one more time, Josh. Go ahead and give us your website so the listeners can see what that website is, and they can click and find out more about you guys.
Sure, yeah. So it's pretty simple. It's just www.dynamicsportstraining.com, and you can find out more about our high school training, our youth training, college, pro. So just check it out and let us know what you think.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Tony, you hear me? Guess we're still having some difficulties with them as well. Josh, thank you so much. We're free to bounce out. We'll be doing
sure.
Thank
you for having us.
Thank you. And we're still having problems with the web connection with Mo City Fitness, but Mo City Fitness and Missouri City and the different Derek and Tony, different trainers that are involved with training a lot of different athletes at the pro level, the collegiate level. So both of these great companies will be involved at the event, Toughest on the Turf, on June 4th at the Legends Pump. Guys, again, thank you for your time and your information to all the listeners out there.
Sure thing. Thanks for having us.
Thank you.